Hello, welcome to the Berkcast, the How to Train Dragon podcast. I'm your host, HC, and with me are.
Rush 2112.
And Wolf.
And today, I'm not sure if you can tell from my somber introduction or the fact that I don't know how either Rush or Wolf are going to name this episode. So, if you couldn't tell by now, then we might bring in the news that at the time of this recording,
Oh my god, how long are you going to stretch this out? We're done. We're quitting. Finally, jeez.
Well,
We're quit. I thought I was getting fired.
Oh, that's happened already.
Oh,
Old news.
but I'm only brought on because I record.
Well, as my beloved co-host just said, in a very, in a very poor taste, I might add. Yeah, we are. This is the final episode of the Berkcast for now. But in terms of why exactly, because I'm pretty sure if you're listening to this, you're asking yourself why. Then, honestly, we
Because How
kind
to
of
Train Your Dragon is awful. That's why. There.
We
Wolf.
finally admitted it.
Wolf. Oh, okay. Let's just get something clear. Just because it's the final episode doesn't mean I can kick you the hell out of here. Let's start with this. Second of all, we are kind of done. We went through everything we had to go over. Hidden World is out, and with that, updates are kind of slow. Like when we started this 3 years ago, we had a few. We still have Race to the Edge to look forward to. We had the graphic novels that were still not out, and we had the third movie to look forward to. And now all of that out, everything's done, and how far can you really stretch something? So we kind of came to the conclusion that a few weeks ago it was the 3-year anniversary of the Berkcast, and we said, you know what? We think this is a good place to stop. This is a good place to call quits for now. With that being said, though, whenever something does pop up in the How to Train a Dragon universe, be it the show that they said is going to come out around Christmas, or Rescue Riders, we will come back for like an episode or two.
We're the best gift you can get.
True that, yo. But
Please don't say yo.
it's the final episode. What are we gonna do? Fire me? But
Stop recording.
I was sure you were going to do something else, but you didn't, so I'm thankful for now. Anyway.
You mean like that?
Yeah.
And he did it! Yay!
You gave me the idea.
All jokes die hard, but anyway.
I mean, we can... Simply put, ladies and gentlemen, we can only joke about Fishleg's questionable love life so many times before it gets very old and very boring.
Hey. Give us credit. Since that one episode, which was more than 100 episodes ago, we didn't bring this up once.
No, we brought it up twice.
That's what I said. We didn't bring it up once. We brought it up twice, and still twice is not that much. Like,
Welcome
I'm
to the
one
last
those
episode of a
Is
Berkcast.
one
We
too
don't really
many.
have a script.
No.
Well, but the basic point is that this is the final episode for now, but we do want to give you a few updates regarding the future of this channel when we get to it. I know Wolf has a lot to say, but yeah, this is the final episode of the Berkcast. So you know what? We earned this. Reminiscing? What? You know what? I'm not sure if I directly asked you that question, but what was your first reaction when you saw my post on the good old phone vine regarding this? Like, what was your reaction?
I hope I
think I
didn't
said-
miss the cutoff date.
I just remember your comment was it's the last comment on this thread and you're like, am I too late to join? But like, before you posted this, like, you're going on the phone vine for whatever reason and you see this, but what is your thought? That was what you were thinking. Like you just.
I don't
I
think.
wanted to say something so much, but then like Rush didn't immediately jump in. And I was like, "Oh, this silence is so good. Just let it sit."
Yes, exactly.
That was just too good.
The inner workings of the Berkcast's minds.
Like I can just imagine Rush staring at the computer screen, like the wheels turning, and he said, "How to Train Your Dragon podcast? I can do this. I can do this. Yeah. Wait, am I too late?" And yeah. But Wolf, I think you told me that when you first started, you were like, "Nah, there's no way this is going to catch on." But
I mean,
you know what?
I thought it was cool, so I think I was one of the first ones to sign up for it, right? Like, I was one of the first comments there, and I said, yeah, I'd be interested in this. This is neat. At the time, yeah, like, that's what I said, but my thought was, this will probably never go anywhere. Enter 3 years later and 132 episodes later. It went somewhere.
Right.
This is also true.
Well, I can say that, as I hope this isn't coming out as too show offy, but as the person who thought about this idea, it is nice that that we got to make a How to Train Dragon podcast, because if you look at the YouTube podcasts or just podcasts in general, there's nothing that really specify How to Train Dragon. People bring it up, people bring mention to it, but it's not the focus. It's not the topic of conversation all the time. If it is at all, it could just be mentioned as something related to the topic. So we were the first one there, and we did get the shout out to our friends at the Dragon Academy dropouts who were kind of doing their own thing, and I hope they'll go on for a few more episodes.
They're not as good as us, and we did it first.
Well, we did do it first, but I don't know. Maybe they are better.
It's in the name. They're Dragon Academy dropouts. We didn't drop out of Dragon Academy. They are worse.
We just dropped out of life.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if they are going to attack us, I know who to drag the file to. But yeah, but
nobody. We're over.
Yeah.
First to start, first to end.
And
yeah, kind of poetic, but at the same time, I am glad that we got to do this, that we got to get around every week and talk about this franchise, because goddamn, this franchise needs more talking about. There are stuff to talk about. Why isn't anyone talking about this? For Christ's sake, but whatever. But I can believe it's been 3 years, and I can believe how much because I got a lot out of this podcast. Just this idea that every Saturday I needed to get ready to think of a script, to think of an idea, to make sure both of you are here, applies more to Rush than Wolf because reasons. But and
even when I'm here, I'm not actually here.
You're a ghost then. Once again, the silence speaks volumes. But what was I about to say? And all the guests we had on the show, like a lot of them are good friends, and I talk to them every day. And
you've met some of them, haven't you?
Yeah, I met 3 of the people who were on the show, which were Leffy, Randy, and Twig. I met all of them in real life, and they're just as awesome in real life as they are on mic. So I'm happy for those experiences, and I met more people who weren't on the podcast, but I got to know thanks to this podcast, and I in a sense also making it to the Hidden World and not calling it quits before it and just coming back for one episode talking about it and then never again. I'm glad that we managed to keep this going until Hidden World came out and actually do something with it, and keep in anticipation for the TV show. I achieved what I wanted with this, so it's it's bittersweet to say goodbye to this podcast because it was fun, but at the same time, it was fun and I'm sad, but at the same time, I accomplished what I wanted. So I'm happy with this. What do you guys have to say? Because I kind of took over. And there's going to be silence again, aren't they?
Wolf and I, we can read each other's minds. It's a dark black hole, but yeah, you did say quite a bit actually, but in reality, in seriousness, yeah, I mean, when I started this 3 years ago, I was in college, and it's just like, well, you know, this is the thing on the weekend. I usually have nothing going on the weekends, except for when my parents would surprise visit me down, which is always the times that I always said it like at the last minute. It's like, I can't record today. Okay. It's like, great, thanks for not giving me any warning. Same to you guys, you would say that about me, right? But although at that time I think HC's computer was still working, so we would just record the audio and send it to him. Making us do all the work. Anyway.
Yeah, well, let's be honest here. We had a lot of breaks because of my technical difficulties. So yeah, thank you for picking up the slack like a good co-host should.
And then promptly not appearing on half the episodes after that. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, it was just like that. And then, you know, every now and then things would happen where, I mean, I'm still in college, and then I graduate, and then now I'm at home waiting to start a job, and then I start my job, I move out, and just life goes on. It's the transition, I guess. I mean, AC, I know you just said you finished your film school, so, but you were mostly in school the whole time of the podcast?
You know, when we started, I was like a few months before starting my second year.
Okay.
And now I finished my fourth year. So yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, I was in for about half. Wolf, you're old man, so
started an old man, ended an even older man.
You're old.
What was that? But yeah, I mean, it's just, I guess it's interesting that we had kind of, I'm not gonna say it's not an interesting spectrum in any case, but it's like, you know, for you, HC, I guess you didn't really have, I know I had a lot more free time when I was in college, for sure, or university, as they say overseas, because they actually do mean different things. But I don't know about you. You did seem pretty busy, but that was mostly due to the time change. Like, for you, are Saturday mornings open?
No, Saturday mornings are not.
Okay.
But you know, when you say this, I was kind of busy sometimes. Like I can tell you that whenever we were about to take part in a production, then yeah, there would be no episode because I would need to be ready a day before in order to you know, wake up on time and everything. So that did take up a bit of time sometimes. And you know, when basically whenever I had to travel a day before, a day before, you know, on Saturday, that would usually mean there's no episode today.
I remember that. Yeah, you said you had to travel or something the day. So.
But I don't think it didn't happen too much. And it happened twice this year when I was abroad, you know, meeting people from the community. So that was something. And yeah, Wolf, you didn't miss that many episodes since you were brought on as a main member, because, and so what is your thought process on Saturdays?
I have no life. That's my thought process. So I'm always here.
Well, that's dedication, buddy. That's dedication.
That's not dedication. That's having no life. But
Oh.
anyways,
Actually, something that we might talk about, because she was with us when we started, and sadly I couldn't get around for this episode. But we started off me, Rush, and Voyager. She was a part of the podcast very early on. She even came up with the name the Berkcast. I'm not sure if I mentioned this before, but she's the one who offered it to me because I had a bunch of long, complicated names, which, looking back,
list some of those. I don't think I've ever heard them. List some of them. I want to hear them.
Oh, okay. I need to look them up, but you know what? I'll send them to you off screen, maybe.
No, you got to say them on the show. The audience deserves to hear these too.
So you know what? When you guys, once I'm finishing this, I'm going to look up. But basically, she was there from the start, and whenever she could be on the show after she started college as well, she was there. She was always fun to talk to. She had I'm kind of sad that she couldn't be here for the final episode, but like Rush said, life moves on, and then Wolf kind of became a permanent fixture here. So, Wolf, what do you have to say about that? Like, you did this a few times, and then we were like, "Hey, can you be a main member?"
I mean, I was glad, I guess, because I like way back then, and even now, I was really into How to Train Your Dragon, and I like the show, I like the movies, and there's a lot there you can talk about. So, why not jump on something like this? Yeah, if you would have told me like that I would become a permanent member, I would have been a little bit surprised because there was a lot of interest, it seemed, and unfortunately a lot of those other people just weren't able to be on, didn't have time and stuff like that. But yeah, if you would have told me I would have been doing this 4 or 5 years ago, I would have laughed at you, because me talking to other people online, ha 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 ha, that's funny. That's not who I am at all.
And then he starts another podcast.
Yeah.
I blame you. You got me into doing it, so might as well.
Yeah, we got him to do a podcast about a show that he dragged us into.
It's a little thing.
I'm talking about How to Train Your Dragon.
Not very popular.
No, it's not.
Not even a good show.
Okay.
I didn't say that.
Look, we might as well get this all out here on the last episode. No, I'm just kidding. If you want to start some beef with the Dragon Dropouts, I gotta start some beef with you.
Actually, it's funny
fair.
It's funny that you mentioned them, because I found the list of old names, and one of them is the Dragon Academy podcast.
Oh, we should have went with that name.
I can screen cap this. This was a thing. Oh,
we should have went with that name. The beef we could have had.
The beef. That should be something else.
Okay. So
there's your title, by the way, Rush, if you're the one who uploads this. The last episode of the Dragon Academy podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so
that definitely won't mess with people.
No. Here's what it is: ending the show, starting a beef.
Okay, there will be beef, but so among the other names, the names that I came up with were the Dragon Academy podcast, the Berg podcast Vine, because
Ew, what the hell?
I don't know. I was stupid. And the Dragon's Edge podcast, and another name that Voyager Dragon called, but the podcast just sounded more.
Who came up with that one?
Dragon Calls, Voyager did.
No. Berkcast.
Voyager, I just said.
Oh, okay. Well, your mic cut out, so.
Oh, so no, I said even before that because before
we don't
you
listen
Rush
to what you have to say.
Of course.
Only when we want to talk.
But before you joined, there was someone else. I'm not going to mention names, but there was someone else who was interested, but eventually didn't join us, and that's where you come in, Rush. But
So I was technically too late, but as chance would have it.
Well, you arrived just on time with a mic, so and with a mic and Skype. Yeah, we recorded on Skype at first. Remember that? But yeah. Anyway, what was I about to say? So I sent both Voyager and who this was. I can look up the name, but I don't want to do this for the person's sake. But I sent him those names, and Voyager was like, how about the Berkcast or Dragon Call? Something simple. And I was like, yeah, the Berkcast is cool. Let's go with this.
Astounding story.
Yeah, origin stories. Ooh. And like Wolf said, I am kind of pissed that we didn't go with the Dragon Academy podcast just for the hell of it. Oh my god.
The Berkcast is better, hands down. But the Dragon Academy podcast, if the other guys would have went with Dragon Academy Dropout, still would have been funny on a competing level.
Well, the problem was they probably wouldn't have chosen that name had we.
They would have gone with the Berkcast.
Yeah, exactly. Name. Exactly. Then
it's only a good name because HC didn't come up with it.
You know something? As much as I'm sometimes sick of you guys discrediting me when I pull this entire thing on my back, you're right on this one. I suck at naming things. Just for example, my graduation film in college, which I'm editing right now, it's about the main character has mixed feelings. How did I call it? Mixed feelings. Genius. Fucking genius.
You do carry this podcast.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, you know something? I'm going to, seeing how this is kind of reminiscent about the episode we did, I'm going to do something that none of you are going to do. I'm going to compliment you on times you made me.
We're not going to compliment ourselves? Yeah, definitely not.
You're not going to compliment me, you. But whatever. So, Rush, I'm going to start with you because I don't remember exactly what episode this was. It was either when we reviewed the second season of Race to the Edge or the third season. I think it was the third one. I'm not sure. That one of you commented on like when Hiccup uses the crossbow shield, that where does he pull the arrows from? So one of you mentioned this. I don't recall exactly for what reason. And then we asked Rush to say in Sean Connery toothless voice. Remember that? Remember that meme? That didn't go anywhere. But we asked them to say in like toothless wondering where did Hiccup pull out the arrows from. So Rush said in Sean Connery toothless voice, did you just pull those arrows out of my ass? And then a second later, he changes to Hiccup's voice and goes, well, better yours than mine, bud. I don't know why, that made me laugh.
I know why it made you laugh, because it's stupid.
Yeah, it's stupid. And you know, sometimes stupid can be funny.
I mean, it's no better than me when I broke Wolf and I got you to stand up and leave your desk or wherever you record.
Oh yeah.
On the ship is on fire. You know, that was bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, that you know something, that was one of the few episodes I actually recorded in my domes and not in my actual home. But so yeah. You see this? I'm complimenting this man about the time he laughed. And what he's like, yeah, because it's stupid. But like, do you even throughout those 3 years? Do I mean nothing to you? Silence. If it's silence, the answer is yes. I get it. Moving on.
You mean more to me than you could ever know.
Mm-hmm. Like that time I made you
Jon
angry
Snow.
because. Funny. Not really, though. You lost your touch.
No, it's just that wasn't stupid. It wasn't a joke.
Yeah, you're right. It wasn't just stupid. It was idiotic.
Do you hear this, ladies and gentlemen? Rush actually compliments HC, and that's when he gets mad and yells at him.
Yeah.
Can never please HC, ladies and gentlemen. This is why we're ending.
Yeah.
Can never please him.
HC 3 minutes ago. I'm actually going to compliment you, HC now. Idiotic.
Well, just because I can compliment you for one thing doesn't mean I can criticize you.
I mean, yeah, we criticize you 99% of the time and then compliment you.
Exactly.
Well,
You
okay.
see?
No, maybe 100% of the time.
You see, so 50-50. I'm fair with you assholes.
Really? You're really riding that line, aren't you?
Yeah, I am, because I don't know. I had an idea for a joke and then I lost. Whatever. Maybe it's for the better I lost.
Just like you had an idea for the script and we lost it.
Well, the script was reminiscing. That's what we were doing. We're reminiscing, and among the things we do is insult each other, because I guess we're not friends, even though we've been doing this for,
Speaking of not friends, Wolf, how you doing over there?
I'm doing great, not friend, best friend.
We have to stick together against the tyrannical rule.
Yeah, you might not know this, folks, but I'm keeping these two starved and locked in a chain. I don't let them eat or drink.
I don't know. I have a feeling I could overpower you, HC, pretty easily.
Maybe you could. Maybe you could. And Wolf is a wolf, so yeah, I'm doomed. I am doomed. He's going to eat. I think the main question is, who's going to kill me first? Because Wolf doesn't really have to do anything. Just catch up to me.
Neither of us. You're going to trip and die on your own accord.
Well, thanks again. Believing in me. Thank you.
You're going to slip up on a banana peel.
Okay, this is just not being careful. This is just being a klutz. And granted, I am a klutz, but not that much of a klutz.
This episode is great.
Anyway, so you know what? I'm going to shut up for a few seconds, and I'm just going to let you try and talk about each other. Let's see where this is going to.
You knew what you were getting into, right? I know. Well,
Yeah.
Wolf did a breathing, and so I did a breathing. I didn't know if it would get picked up or not.
I didn't think mine did.
I had to turn down my gain because it was a bit too high, and we were getting, I think, my AC earlier, so that's why I wasn't sure if it was getting picked up.
I only heard one breathing. I didn't hear the other. Not sure who that was.
I heard Wolf's. Well, then mine was just trying to breathe loudly and then choking a little.
I'm trying to think, what episode was it where, I'll give HC one thing. There was a moment he had way back when, but I forget the episode and I forget what it was that he was talking about. But I do remember what I said in response to it, and that was, fuck me, that's actually a really good idea from HC.
Oh, yeah. I know this. This was when they released the clip of Stoic talking to young Hiccup.
Yes, that was for the third film.
Yeah, and I just had this. I was off when the actual movie came out, but I just had this idea that maybe this is the opening scene because Stoic opens with "This is Berk," and I thought, hey, maybe this could be an interesting way to open the film with and everything. And Wolf was like, "You know something? Fuck me, that's actually a good."
Yeah, it was like that was actually a really good idea from you. I really liked that one.
And he was wrong.
A compliment. He was wrong, but it was a good idea. It was a compliment still yet.
Speaking of predictions,
a bit of an insult though, because the way I word it is definitely a bit of an insult. Like HC never has.
Yeah,
ideas.
I wasn't expecting that. HC, good job.
Well, this podcast was my idea,
and I wasn't even trying to insult
it's the worst
him
idea yet.
I do like though how I word it that way. I'm not trying to insult HC, but it does come off as an insult.
Yeah.
Like even subconsciously, still insulting HC.
Yeah. But yeah, actually, if we can go back to that episode for a second, one thing I like, I don't remember what was the topic, but we were talking about something about. Then all of a sudden, Wolf goes without any context. I hope they kill Hiccup, like for no reason, like, and also actually, if I can compliment at the same time not compliment Rush, I think this was the episode where he referred to Dumbledore from Harry Potter as Gandalf, which is geek, being a geek 101. You don't confuse the two. Dumbledore is better.
I think I made that mistake because for the longest time I actually thought they were played by the same actor.
Yeah, that one. Like once the original actor for
right when Richard Harris, I think that was his name, died, I thought the replacement was actually the same person. Well, that was for the longest time. I know now they're not, but yeah.
But you know, old people, long beard. I can get the confusion, but still, it was funny when that you were talking about Harry Potter and then Gandalf and wait, what? I'm trying to think if there was anything. So you know something. Wolf actually said something. Rush, do you have any fond memories? I was going to say no.
No. I do have. I really just like. There's obviously several episodes where this happens, but I have a feeling that it's definitely your Frozen rant where we try. We try and actually stop you in seriousness. Sometimes when we stop you in joking, like we just kind of egg you on after. But this time we're trying to stop you in seriousness, and you were like, no, I need to do this. And like, okay, we're just gonna write it out.
Yeah, to clarify to people who didn't see that who didn't listen to that episode, it's episode 22. You can look it up. It's
he remembers.
He knows.
Of course I remember. Of course I remember that. But you know, it was episode 22. We were talking about fan fictions in depth for the first time, like discussing fan fictions we like to read, once we don't, and I talked about this How to Train Your Dragon and Frozen crossover, which, you know, if you want to go look for, it's called A Chance Encounter. Look it up. No offense to the writer, but this story is just a big amount of no. For a lot of reasons, and if you want to hear my very elaborated opinion on it, go listen to that episode, because I think both of you and I believe I think Riftcraft said it, that this was one of my highlights in this podcast.
Yes, nothing is better than HC when he's mad.
Mm-hmm. Like, because this, you know, I guess you can tell I was speaking from the heart, and you know
that, and just the moment we got him to legitimately, like Rush said earlier, just leave his, like, drop his microphone and just leave the room.
Yeah,
that's my crowning achievement.
Yes.
Yeah, like the Christmas one where people were not. I think it was not allowed would give Hiccup a new dad. No, that wasn't it. There was something else.
No. It was no. I did that joke and it was stupid. And then like later on, so I simultaneously in that single episode had the worst joke and the best joke. We were basically getting so far off track, and then we kind of came back on. It's like, we're not even on the script anymore. You're like, yeah, that ship has sailed. And I said, no, that ship is burned down and sank to the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, we've really pushed the Stoic is dead joke hard, thinking back.
Yeah,
man, I mean, you could say we've beaten a dead horse, but we've really beaten a dead
Stoic. Well,
but
reburning a burned ship.
But you know, before that though, in the same episode, I don't remember again what it was.
Place all the pieces of wood. Is it the same ship?
Like,
no, I mean, no.
I don't remember what I said.
Bringing it back above water and resinking it.
Yeah, but
Oh, see, you were talking. Sorry, didn't hear
Yeah.
you.
Gee, thanks. But I, I think it was the same episode, but I think it was a bit before. Well, you mentioned Stoic the Past. Yeah, that's the name of this meme. Apparently, there's a name for it. It's like, but anyway, that I don't remember what I said, but Rush was just reacted with sign, and I was so surprised, for lack of a better term, that he makes all of these jokes about how Stoic dies. And then I make one joke that has nothing to do with it, and is actually, I assume, in a better taste, not necessarily a good one, but the better one. And then he says, and I just reacted with, "Are you sign?"
Yes. Oh, I remember that. You. And it wasn't even like a. It wasn't even like a. It was. I think I had actually just drank coffee, and I was like. Like that kind of.
Yeah,
it was hot or something, and you're like, "Are you sighing?" That was funny.
Speaking of, I do recall two moments that actually made me laugh. Where Twig, I just call them Twig. Oh my god, the meme gets to me. The meme gets to me. But anyway, when Rush was actually mad at both of them. One was obviously with the infamous, Toothless wanted to get mind control.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the topic itself was fine until Wolf said that Toothless planned on getting mind control, and then Rush was like, "Nope, wait, no."
It's like
we need to
slams
stop
desk. Hold on. There's and I always will say, like, that's just Wolf's response to everything is, "But what if you're wrong?" Essentially, it's like, "But what if he did?" It's like, thanks for your supporting evidence.
Mm-hmm. And the other one was when about if Astrid and Heather are Mary Sue's, and I don't remember exactly what I said about Astrid's character development. And Rush was like, "No, wait! You just explained to me something," and I was like, "Yeesh, I stepped on some toes, unintentionally."
I think it was like because we kept just going back and forth on the definition of Mary Sue. It's like, well, it could be, but it's also this, and it was kind of conflicting.
No. In this case, I said something about that the movie didn't really need to give her some sort of a character. I think it was that when she asks Hiccup if he's going to, keep the secret of the nest to himself just to defend Toothless, and he says yes. And she's like looking at it, and she, instead of going to the village and telling them herself, she actually trusts him. That I said that in any other movie would probably not go in that direction. Something like this.
We're gonna have to re-listen to the episode.
Yeah, I just remember it was something like this moment of her changing her opinion of Hiccup, which I said, not the movie didn't have to do this. Like other movies in this genre wouldn't go that far, and maybe you misunderstood me or something. We need to go back and.
That's usually the case.
Shout out though to, if I'm not mistaken, it was Foolproof Fred and Perfect Patty.
Ah, yes.
Way better definitions than Mary Sue that we came up with on our show first. So always remember
Put
that.
the hashtags there.
Mm-hmm.
Promptly when Twitter wasn't working, actually, so it didn't matter. Glad we fixed that for the last 3 episodes, Wolf.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Volka's Omelet.
Volka's Omelet, that was a good one. Got cooked too soon.
I still call them omelet. Like whenever there are discussions.
Yeah, we say that, and people are like, "What the hell are you talking about?" It's like, "Oh shit, that's just an inside joke."
Yeah, that we named. Actually, just recently.
Did we ever name Drago's Bewilder Piece?
No, I'm calling him Honey because
Sunny side up.
I was gonna call him Vodka.
You know what? I'm calling him White Russian. Let's
White
go with
Russian? Is that what you're gonna call him?
this. Yeah, White Russian. You know, the drink.
Yeah, I know.
Fair. I like Sunny Side Up personally, but
Yeah.
fair. That's a good one.
Well, you know, people have thousands of names for the Light Fury. I heard Noblesse, I heard Leary, I heard a lot. So why not have multiple name choices for him?
Hiccup calls her that bitch that stole my best friend.
Maybe he does. We don't know.
Yeah, that name's better.
We should probably, you know, there's a bonus on which is Astrid summarizing the entire story in a minute. I would like to hear a commentary on the 10 years since the dragons left. Like, how was Hiccup like during that time? There you go, just gave them a short idea. Go do that. Put the money bags on the side.
Sure.
With that said, we did have a lot of guests on the show, so just a few shout outs to them. The first guest we ever had was Icelandic Eel, who is now part of the Dragon Academy Dropouts. So, you know,
Stole our podcast idea because we invited him on. Boom. You're wrecked.
yeah,
Thief.
probably.
We weren't good enough for him. Nobody ever is.
And yeah, one of my favorite surprises from this podcast is that when I told, okay, we need to do the books. Like, we were about to reach 50 episodes, and it's like, we need to do the books. And the person I was thinking of isn't available. I didn't want to do it. I don't remember. But do you have someone? And he says yes. And I'm like, okay, who is this person? And then that led to Haddock being on the show, and not only is Haddock an awesome person to talk to, but has since become one of my better friends, and we're now watching awful movies together and make fun of them. So Haddock, if you're listening, shout out to you.
He's been probably the most recurring guest, right?
Tied with Wolfie, both of them
Okay.
have been 5 times. And yeah, Wolfie was also fun to, you know, bring on. He would always have like a different way to look at something, or different point of views to see. So he was fun to have around.
Basically, it's those two that make you ask the question, why is it these three we're listening to on a podcast and not them?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, Haddock is like linguist, has a very, very well read. Wolfie is, I think he's PhD student. I know computer science, which I mean, like, I'm doing that too. Hicktooth's doing that. Icelandic Eel's doing that, but we're all just dumb compared to him. I also like his accent.
Yeah.
Not the clock, though. He needs to work on the giant
Oh
clock.
yeah, right
the,
next.
the clock was something, but hey.
I like
you
his
know.
accent, not his living location, his choice of location.
Okay. The Netherlands are actually quite nice. But other than that, we also had Hello M at one point, who gave us a shout out. So that was nice of her.
Can you repeat that again, please? Who?
Hello, M.
Hello. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Hello
yeah,
M.
yeah.
We,
A great
she was
guest.
on. Yeah, she was on. She was fun. Obviously, I would argue two of the most famous artists in the fandom, Leffy and Rady,
Mm-hmm.
who again, awesome people to talk to on mic and in real life. I can testify. And speaking of real life, we had Twig on for one episode. That was fun. And also, I still want to see someone try the drinking game. You and him rush for.
Ooh, that was
Rise to the Edge.
that was definitely an experience. I don't think we're ever going to post our private chat that we had that day.
Oh my god! You know something? I would actually pay you. I would pay you to post this.
How much?
For plenty.
That's not a real number.
That's
I would know.
I'm not going to discuss this on mic. I will tell you later.
Suspicion
we,
intensifies.
yeah, but we had Twig, and among the fan fiction writers spot, we had two guests that I personally really enjoyed having on. I'm talking about Alejandra the Mexican, and also Riff Draft. Both of them were great to have on, and
Riff
also why Paul? Oh yeah,
Because she kicked her foot on her desk in the middle of our podcast. At the end of it, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that. Now you said that, yeah, that did happen. And we also had Valkyrie, always fun to talk to. And we had one episode, like Rush, you weren't in for this one, but we did like a Vigo versus Grimmel episode with For Honor and Glory, and she was fun in that discussion. That was a really great. That was a great debate, even though I think I miscast. I terribly miscast the who defends who, but it was still a fun one. And yeah, all the guests were great, and I'm just thankful to have them as both guests on this podcast and just friends to talk to. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I'm not missing here.
I'll say The Outcast. It was a really great idea that I'm glad took off in the way it did, and I'm really glad the two of you were willing to come along with me on the journey that is RWBY, since it's been most of our Outcast episodes.
You needed somebody else to suffer in the in-between time, whatever they call it, the hiatus. Not really hiatus. I guess that was just the in-between seasons.
No, it was the hiatus.
Okay, hiatus.
We'll call it hiatus. That's what it is, hiatus. And I'm glad I've got other people to suffer with me in the hiatus. Volume 7 soon.
When does it come out?
We nudge.
Sometime in August, hopefully. I think.
That's actually not that bad.
No, not August. Sometime in October. Sorry. Not August.
Yeah, I was thinking
Wolf.
October, and then
got my hopes up.
August. Oh, okay. But yeah, the Outcast is something that's fun to do. So yeah, the Outcast is something that's fun to do.
The name for that one was on me, by the way. I can do good name too.
Yeah,
just one. Just the one. That's all you get. Just the one good name.
What is it? Me like good music.
Yeah,
that was a good episode title. Of course, that was you just saying that, so we just decided to make it the episode title.
Everyone was talking about it, and I know, like, between you know, like, we had a King of the Wilderness had it gone for that one, and I know I'm not like a huge music person. I can't talk a lot about it. It just felt like, this is funny, I'm gonna say it.
Yeah, well, like, because, like, Haddock and I were just talking about it back and forth. Like, Wolf, what about you? Me like good music.
Yeah, that, you know, it's the equivalent of saying, yeah, I agree, and adding nothing, which did happen a few times in
We've had some fun with the episode names here and there.
Yeah, well, hey, I mean, that's
actually, you know something. One memory I just something I just recalled from when we knew that Grimmel was going to be a thing in the third movie. It was just like we have a new villain. He's Grimmel. Wolf and I did an episode about it. We're asking like, wait, so what's up with Drago? And we just had this debate that at the end of the second movie, he just drowned after the fight. Like when you say that the Bewilder is going inside the water with him, it's like this is his end. Like he's screaming his lungs out underwater and he suffocates and dies. And yeah.
That's a joke that survived way longer than I thought it would.
Yeah, because
unlike Drago.
Yeah, because Lord and behold, we were actually right. To an extent, no one can prove we were wrong. Like, Drago is dead, so that's probably how he died, though.
You know, something I'm surprised didn't last for very long and only managed to make it in the one episode it was in was Wolf's terrible renaming of Bucket and Mulch.
Yeah.
That one got me. And you
That
owned up
was
to it pretty quickly with that slight blow off. It's like, I started laughing like, what? I was like, did you just say mucking and bullets? It's like, yeah. It's like I did that on purpose. I'm like,
I
I'm
didn't. That
sure
was
you
a complete
did.
accident, but I just
I
played that
know,
off
I
as
know.
a-
You played up, and like you did have a legitimate excuse though, because like you had in the pre-show you
I
said
was-
like you had fallen off the ladder and you were taking pain meds.
No, it wasn't pain meds. It was, I think, some really heavy allergy medication that made me very sleepy.
Oh.
And I also hadn't had a lot of sleep as well on top of that. So
Oh god.
that was
actually,
fun. That was a fun episode.
actually, I just remember that going back to. I know for a fact that this was with Race to the Edge season 3 when we talked about this. And by the way, if I can have one proud moment, is that we unintentionally started reviewing all the seasons of the show that were out at that point, and it somehow miraculously led to season 4, which came out a week after we did season 3. So completely unintentional, but but we were talking about we were reviewing Race of the Earth season 3, and we got to the first appearance of who now we know is Krogan, who back then was the Hooded Man. And I recall Rush being so annoyed that people saying that this is Drago. And, because he's, he's not, because he keeps saying, like, he's not, he's not as big as him. He has an arm, and it couldn't him be Drago before he lost the arm, everything like this. And Rush pretty much went on a rant regarding this. And then I just said, like, so let's just clarify that this guy is not Drago. And I don't know what came over me when I said it's so obviously Volca. And you can hear Wolf going, wait, what?
Yeah.
So there was that. And I think another that wasn't planned on at all is when we finished talking about the season in general, we talked a bit about the trailer for season 4 and what we thought and everything, and then all of a sudden there was this loud ass lightning outside my window.
Oh yeah.
And that scared me. That scared the hell out of me. But we managed to play into it like, oh my god, HC has a squirrel near his house. And that
was
fun.
you making that joke.
Yeah. Hey, you laughed. So, yeah.
I need video evidence of this.
Okay, watch the episode. It was Race to the Edge season 3.
Thanks.
Go it's near the end. That's what I remember.
Well, yeah, because we ended it. We didn't get to my predictions. I remember that because it's like, well, we better end before HC dies.
Well, we did read your predicting fanfiction of it an episode later.
It's not the same.
And with all due respect, you got your prediction episodes.
Yeah, but we never got a final tally.
But you did manage to predict the hidden wall. You predicted something regarding it. So good on you. Good on you. Did something good.
Even when he's complimenting, he's condescending.
The theme for this entire podcast. Anyway,
reminiscent of Outcast.
But
13 Reasons Why. That was
yeah, that was that was kind
the
of
rants. I remember ranting on that episode a lot.
I'm glad I wasn't on that episode.
I think I asked you about it, and you were like, "Nope, I don't want anything to do with it."
Yeah, I'm like, nah, I ain't doing that, man.
By the way, Wolf, next week the new season is out, so
let's cover it. We covered the first 2 seasons in one episode. Let's do the
yeah.
third one.
Why
not?
We've already surprise character comes back from the dead.
Oh God, if they do.
Actually, can I talk about what the trailers show? I only saw the first one. I didn't see the other
Not-
trailer that they
You
released.
should
This
save
isn't
it
the
for an
Outcast,
Outcast,
HC.
HC.
Yeah.
This is the
Basically-
end of the Berkcast. Don't soil its name like we've already done several times.
So the one thing,
Over and
hold
over.
on, hold on. Like 50-50.
Go ahead.
Keeping the best wolf laugh. Actually, you know that does remind me of something. First time we did the incorrect How to Train a Dragon phrases, we just came across one that was so stupid, but I couldn't stop laughing at it. Do you remember that?
No.
There's your answer.
Well, first incorrect How to Train a Dragon quotes we did. Go look it up. It's pretty much at the beginning. But yeah, continuing the outcast, for its certain reasons why is that, if I may criticize myself for a second, doing both seasons in one episode was a bad idea. Like a really bad idea.
I like how you can desperately hear me in that episode trying to give us some semblance of like continuity. Like, all right, well, if we're not doing the seasons, then I'm just gonna stick with going over the characters then.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, let's jump ahead and skip around like the characters order. It's you can desperately hear me throughout that entire episode, just trying to keep some semblance of continuity. I did kind of like that.
Yeah. By the way, regarding the Outcast,
That's why you should never
I
believe
got-
HC when he said that he tries to keep us on track, by the way.
Yeah.
well,
You
just
both
because I
said
want
yeah
to
at the
try-
same time.
Just because I can try and do this doesn't mean I can succeed, especially when it comes to YouTube.
A little bit of behind the scenes, like for the 13 Reasons Why episode, there was definitely a disagreement between me and HC about, like, how do you want to do this? Like, we're going to cover both seasons all as one big movie. I'm like, we shouldn't do that. HC's like, no, it'll be fine. I'm like, I don't think we should do that. No, it'll be fine. We're going to do it. I'm like, okay.
Granted, you know something. Granted, it's not the best idea, but it could have gone.
No, oh yeah, it could have been a lot worse. It could have been so much worse. It's 13 Reasons Why, and we're covering it. It could have been a lot worse.
Yeah,
I
you
could
know,
have been there.
I think I think we actually said something at the beginning that, like, we are not professionals. We are not claiming to know anything professional about depression, and so we are not the adverts. We're just talking about this as a show. That's like, we had to get this out there.
Mm-hmm.
But,
It was I think it was interesting for what it was, but yeah, just a bit of behind the scenes. Like there's definitely a bit of a disagreement on how to cover it. But I mean, it worked out. As we said, it could have been a lot worse, but it worked out as something that was okay. Just like all of our other stuff, it's okay.
And then the one thing about the Outcast that I do want to point out, that the first time I had someone with me on the Outcast was when Rush and I reviewed Avengers Infinity
War.
And if you're still looking forward to review on Endgame, it's good. We are probably not going to do
HC
that.
actually asked me about that before this episode started, and I pulled the meme on him, and it took him about 2 seconds to get it, but he's like, "So, Endgame, do you want to do Outcast?" And I said, "No, I don't think I will." And he's like, "Okay." Oh, I see what you did there. I'm like,
yeah, it took me a second to realize what he was referencing.
See, but to be honest, if I'm being honest here, I just said no, like in my standard, just quick response to HC asking me anything, no, and then it occurred to me to do the "I don't think I will" meme. So.
Oh man, it's a meme so good, even Gordon Ramsay. But so we pretty much went over everything we have to go over. We reminisced about everything. So I'll leave this one to you, Wolf, because you had the biggest vision for this. What is going to go on with the YouTube channel now that the Berkcast is ending? Don't do this. You planned this.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, there was some discussion. I don't know if Rush and HC are up for this. No one kind of gave a definitive, yeah, let's do that. So, this was my
That's
thought.
the definition of the Berkcast.
This is also true. But my thought was you might see and notice a name change in the future to the Fancast, and you'll see us switch over from just covering the Berkcast is what we've always done. That's why we called it the Berkcast because we covered How to Train Your Dragon. So you might see us switch over to calling ourselves the Fancast, and you might see us do what I call the Berkcast treatment to other shows. The idea we had as a start was going over Avatar: The Last Airbender and that franchise, and kind of getting into it and talking about it in a way similar to what we did with How to Train Your Dragon. It may not be as many episodes, because we're definitely probably not going to do everything the same way, but we'll definitely get into character episodes maybe and specific episodes. Say that 3 times fast. But yeah, just, trying to, I guess you would say, branch out. And the Outcast, like we've said before, will always still be there. Will be our kind of quick, like, hey, we want to talk about this. We enjoyed it. Let's do a small thing about it. Side thing.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's kind of it. Not a lot to say.
Side piece.
Side piece.
Yeah, but the Outcast is going to continue, and Wolf, I actually voiced support of this idea. So, what the hell are you talking about? Throwing me under the
but
bus.
no one voiced support of the name.
I
So we
did.
have no-
I believe I
talking
put my
about this
vote in
last week.
notifications.
Yeah, here's the thing, Rush. It's not funny.
I mean, that's very us, though.
Unprofessional
but
and unfunny.
Debatably funny.
Debatably
Debatably
amusing. Wolf, if you are going to quote yourself, do it right.
Unprofessional. It's in the
And
name.
debate-
It's in the quote, so I don't have to professionally
Doing it
quote
right
myself.
would
I don't
mean
have to
he
do
would
it
be
right, yeah.
professional.
Yeah.
Look, HC,
know
you know that
anymore.
I will switch sides on a dime depending on whoever yelled at me last.
Okay. Now, just let me tell you, if you think I yelled at you this episode, you didn't see me in my chair.
You did
didn't
say
see
his
me
joke
through.
was unfunny, though.
Well, it's not yelling.
And you did also call him an idiot.
It's not yelling. He said yelled.
Weighing the scales, which is worse, insulting, calling jokes unfunny.
Oops, I haven't been recording.
So at the same time, you could have said, oops, I did it again. Then it will keep on with the bad jokes, but whatever.
See, that wasn't funny.
I know. I said bad joke. I'm self-aware.
And yet you still keep trying.
I know. That's what makes me awesome.
All right, we have
Gotta
very
laugh.
different...
Woo.
yeah, self-deprecating jokes. It's the easiest.
Basically, Wolf, anything else you want to say about the Fancast?
I mean, not really. I hope people enjoy that. If you want to see more of us talking about other shows, that's a possibility in the future. Let us know if that's a thing you would be interested in.
And by the way, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Outcast coming soon. Once Wolf sits on his ass and watches the show. Just saying.
Are you
He's only
serious?
saying
You're
it
gonna
here,
call
so
it?
I have.
Yeah, really. He's gonna. That's just mean.
How many times did he say the same to me about you? But whatever.
Never
We're
in the
not-
show.
Yeah.
Well, you two just agreed that I'm Wolf, so I'm going to play around with it. You see, not so nice when I'm actually terrible.
Don't yell at him.
That's not yelling.
Don't yell at him.
Don't yell at me.
This wasn't this wasn't yelling as well.
This is a bad joke.
This was my voice breaking. Different, I say.
I only actually said that because I knew I'd get that sort of reaction out of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. We have a dynamic. I want to believe. Not really. I don't know.
We
Comments.
Have
Yeah, comments. Do we have a dynamic?
what
Let
we
us know.
definitely have here is fun, ladies and gentlemen. Or pretend to have fun.
It's
Yeah.
all a
So
show.
I think closing words. This was fun,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just glad that we got to do this, and you know, reach a point where we ended because we couldn't handle it, or we couldn't meet up. We just we did everything we think we could, and I I think that's a better way to end it than just calling it quits without, you know, because you couldn't handle it.
I think the timing was
So
also pretty good. We were able to make it all the way past the third movie into our third year.
Yeah,
mhm.
like I think we've covered just about everything we can cover as far as characters, story elements, and just world building, all of it. Like we've covered so many different things in so many different ways. Some of it blah, 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 blah. We've revisited more than once. English, I do know sometimes.
Me speak good word.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering actually if people find my accent a lot less annoying now than in the first few episodes.
I
If
You
they,
know,
still remember
actually,
the person.
HC, there was on the Valhalla server,
yeah.
Silly, like when it was just me before Wolf or you joined, Silly was
Mhm.
asking like, "Oh, can you get the man with the accent on here?" I'm like, I'll ask him, I guess.
Well, Silly is actually one of the people on the server that I actually met in real life. She's
Yes.
awesome. So I'll make sure to thank her for that. The man with the accent. And
That's
you
your new
know,
intro.
and
Hello, ladies and
actually,
gentlemen. I'm the man with the accent.
and you know something, one of my if one more shout out to the comment that someone congratulated me on France winning the World Cup.
Yes,
I'm
I was
not
gonna
Oh
mention.
my
French.
god,
I remember that comment.
yes.
That comment was very fun.
Oof.
I'm not French, but okay, sure.
Don't make them feel bad like that.
Well, it's not. I'm just proving wrong. You know.
They don't watch anymore.
Well,
They
it's
found out HC wasn't French, and they were like, "Oh God, no, I'm done."
well, final episode, so
So are
good
we.
time to close. But anyway,
They,
this
yeah,
was
they
fun.
find out at this episode. Wait, HC's not French? I'm done with this series.
Joke's on you. We quit before you could
Yeah,
quit.
you can't stop watching us. We quit.
Do you think do you think people actually made it this far into the well, it's
Sure.
the final episode, but
Thanks for insulting our viewers, HC. Not like we do that daily, but still, thanks.
hey, you called people idiots because
Well, your mic ain't helping your argument here, but
damn Mike. But like I said, you were the one calling people idiots because they thought Krogan was Drago.
yeah,
So,
but those weren't our viewers.
go figure. Maybe they were. You can't know. You
Only
can't
real
know.
smart people watch our podcast.
The kind
That
let's put it.
is-
Let's put it
you
this way:
know-
the kind of people who think Drago was Krogan watch the Dragon Academy dropouts. The kind of people who knew Drago wasn't Krogan watch the Berkcast. That's right.
Let's T-pose on their corpses. 'Cause we just murdered them.
T-pose? What the fuck? Like, are you just? How was? I'm just trying to imagine this.
I have broken HC.
Once more. One last
Like,
time.
Yes.
I'm trying to see this in my head. And it's like, how
Yes.
in the hell has this been walking? Oh well.
You're not up to date
whatever.
on your memes.
Hmm.
T-posing to assert dominance.
Sure. You know what? I'm not even going to question this. Sure. That's everything. With that said, I think that's all. Unless you have something else to say.
Nope.
No, like I think we kind of said it. This was fun. We've had a lot of fun doing this. We've met a lot of really amazing and different people, and it's been cool to like do this for the fandom and kind of get in more into the fandom and enjoy it a lot more in this way.
So, with that said, that's all for this episode of the Berkcast. And this the Berkcast in general. We hope you enjoyed your time with us. And what is your favorite Berkcast memory? And tell us if there's anything you want us to cover as part of the fan cast that is going to take over soonish. So once again, thank you for listening. If you want to contact us, our social media pages are still up. You can find us on our Tumblr, which is known as Berkcast Team, on our Twitter, which is Berkcast with a capital B, capital C, and you will
pending.
Yeah, and you will always be able to find us on the Discord server. Name change, probably the same. So with that said, I was your host, HC.
You were that guy with that man with the accent.
The French man.
Yeah, the Frenchman with the accent. The pseudo Frenchman with the accent.
The Frenchman with the accent is somehow the most racist thing I've ever heard in my life.
You're one to talk.
Yeah, that's saying something coming from me.
Anyways, outro.
I was your host, HC.
I was your.
Again.
God damn it, HC.
It's the final episode. I'm allowed to say that. I was HC.
Boring.
Rush
I was your
hypocrite.
resident late man, Rush.
I'm the one you love and who's adorable, Wolf.
And
I'm totally not conceited either.
Debatably adorable.
Just one last thing. I think Wolf is the only person on this show I haven't seen the face of. And I think I'm not missing anything. But with that said, we will talk to you all whenever we do the fan cast. So
if we don't break up after that comment.
And yeah, and you know, talk to you whenever there will be something else House of Dragon related. So with that said, take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.